Welcome to Your First Vote. I'm Jack Okill. Behind the doors of Parliament House, Australia's biggest decisions are made. During our visit to Canberra, we met with politicians from across the political spectrum to hear directly from the people shaping our country's future. Hello everyone, welcome to Your First Vote. I'm joined by Ali Frart, who is the federal member for Dickson. It's such a pleasure to interview you today, and thank you for making the time to be able to do this.
I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much. All right, well, we'll get right into it. My first question is, it has been over a year since the election. How's life been as a member for Dickson, especially because it was Peter Dutton's seat?
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. I don't know, everyone would know the feeling of starting a new job and having to learn the ropes. So the first part of last year was it was a huge learning curve. But this year, I feel like I've really found my feet. I'm really grateful. Some of the things that I've been passionate about my whole life, I get to talk about and argue for. And I really just like people, and especially being able to represent people in my electorate. So I'm super grateful.
Incredible. All right. For people my age, 16 by the way, who don't really know how it all works, what does a normal week look like for you as an MP?
Well, it depends on whether I'm here in Canberra or I'm in Queensland. Now, my electorate is on the north side of Brisbane. It's quite a big electorate. So when I'm in the electorate, my whole focus is listening and talking to the people I represent. And I do that in many different ways. So I visit schools, I have mobile offices, I go to events, I talk to community groups, and quite often they talk to me about their issues or things that they don't like about what the government might be doing, and I'm there to listen and try and find solutions and feed that back into the government. There's also people who quite often talk to me about their good ideas, which are ideas for how things might change for the better. And so that's another thing. So many people in my electorate give me great ideas about how we can do things better. And it's my job to listen, take those opinions back here and see if collectively as a Labor government we can make change for the better.
Incredible. All right. Well, I'm presuming my base might know this, but back in 2011, you obviously lost your leg after saving your son's life, a very courageous moment. Looking back now, how has that experience influenced the way you live your life and the way that you approach politics?
That's a very good question. It took me a long time to recover from that accident, and it was a huge, I had a lot of mental health issues and obviously physical issues. I had like 6 surgeries in 4 years. So it took me a long time to get back on my feet, so to speak. But I guess the thing that has changed me, I had to learn everything again. I couldn't work, I couldn't walk, I felt like I couldn't look after my little kids. I struggled with everything. But what it really taught me is that you're always stronger than you think you are. And actually, I tried so many new things in that time that I would never have done had I not gone through that accident. For example, I tried outrigger canoeing for the first time, and I ended up representing Australia in outrigger canoeing and winning gold medals.
Wow.
So, it's really interesting. When we're younger, when we're kids, we are quite willing to try new things. But as you get older, you just stop doing as much of those new things. So I think my mindset changed in that I was just really willing to give anything a try. And I think that's how I ended up in politics, running against Peter Dutton.
Yeah.
No one really wanted to do that, but I thought I'm going to give that a go.
Put up a fight. That's a very good fight. And it's, you've won.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you ran for Dickson 3 times before you finally won. Was there ever a point where you thought, well, maybe this isn't going to happen?
From the very beginning, everybody told me I would never beat Peter Dutton. Everyone. Well, it was not considered.
Look now.
I know. I showed them. But you know what it was for me? It was more about the trying and putting in the best effort I could. also demonstrating to people that somebody who had gone through losing a leg, you know, having mental health issues, that I could still do big and great and good things, because most people write you off after something like that.
Yeah.
Something bad happens in your life and you kind of, people see you as damaged. And I really wanted to demonstrate that I was still a strong human, and I still had it in me to do amazing things. So the trying was really important to me. I never went into it thinking this was going to be easy or that I would win, but I really wanted to give it a really good crack. And I did that. And guess what? At the end, I got across the line.
Incredible. It's always good to give things a try, even, you know, thinking you might not.
That's exactly right. Well, I've got this really good quote that I've used since I was an outrigger canoeist, is that you can't win if you're not prepared to lose.
That's right.
You actually can't win something if you're not prepared to come second or third.
Or try again.
Or try again. That's right.
Very true. All right. Based on question 4, what was happening? What was going through your head when you realised that you'd actually won?
I was shook. I was shook to my core.
I saw the video. I saw your dad there.
Yes, yes, and my son. I was just shook. I thought I'd been told for so long that it wasn't possible to win, but I knew we were close. I thought it would take a bit longer to do the count, but I was just so grateful that the people of Dickson had finally, you know, they'd put their faith in me, and you know, I had this opportunity. I really was surprised on election night. I was gobsmacked. So it was, they're the bells. That's what happened. Ring in Parliament House all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. Not my bell. My bell's the green one.
Yeah, and it's a different noise, isn't it?
No, it's the same noise. Oh. Well, maybe it is different slightly, but it sounds the same to me.
All right. Okay, well, let's go on to a few topics. Housing is the biggest issue for young people right now. What needs to change to make owning a home actually feel achievable?
Well, housing has been our big focus, certainly since I've been elected, but also prior to that when the Albanese Labor government was elected in 22. For a number of years, we were working on supply.
Yeah.
But also we've had very successful 5% deposit scheme for first home buyers, which has been amazing. Over 1,800 young people in my electorate have bought a home through that scheme. So it's been so successful.
Yeah.
But we came, you know, recently we came into this term, and even though we're boosting supply, there was still the problem of young people coming up against investors. So you would have seen all the debate recently. We just passed legislation that evens the playing field for young people in terms of trying to buy a new home. And I've spoken to people in my electorate who are now going to auctions and to look at homes as first home buyers.
And they never would have before. Yeah.
And they're not competing against a number of investors. So so we're doing that. We've been so focused also on social and affordable homes.
Yeah.
Like, before we came to government, in 9 years, the coalition had built, I think it's 343 social and affordable homes, almost nothing in 9 years. In our 4 years so far, we've built nearly 6,000 across the country. So that in our 4 years, we've done 6,000. They had done 343 in 9 years. But our goal is 55,000 by 29.
Okay.
So it's a big goal, but it will make a huge difference for everybody in our community in terms of housing. But housing has been our passion for a while, and we're doing as much as we can to even the playing field in that space.
What a goal. Hopefully it's achieved.
Yeah.
So cost of living is another big one.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest thing the government can do to take some pressure off families?
Okay. Do you want me to talk about families or young people?
Both.
Both. Okay. So we've done a number of things. We went to the election with a heap of promises around cost of living. You know, the 20% off HECS debts.
Yeah.
We've had we're promised 2 lots of tax cuts, and now we've got another lot of tax cuts. We are doing a lot in the space of free TAFE, for example. we've put in a lot of measures, but we've also argued for wage rises. That's been a huge thing. Because before we came to government...
Mum, that's you.
Good on you, Mum. Yeah. Before we came to government, wages were going backwards. They weren't keeping up with inflation. So if everyone can get a pay rise to keep up with the costs that are rising... So we've really focused on pay rises too. Yeah. So there's lots of different... We have been very focused on cost of living. We've given a lot of electricity rebates. You know, we've just done a $1,000 instant tax deduction, so every worker will get an instant tax deduction. Incredible. You know, there's lots of different things we're doing, but it has been a big focus for us. Yeah.
Incredible. All right, well, the social media ban, it's affected a lot of young Australians, including me. Looking back now, do you think it's worked? I know on the day of filming, it's 30th of June, and I know it's gone through Parliament today to increase to $99 million. The fine is now $99 million. So do you think it's worked?
I think we'll always have work to do on this. I think in having in terms of having a conversation about the impacts of social media and the risks, it started a huge conversation right around the world. Sure. And we needed that because there are a lot of young people who were suffering from quite serious bullying, quite serious mental health issues. We've seen the really tragic stories of suicide, which really drove the changes. So I think it's not perfect the way it is at the moment, and I think there's still a lot of work to do, but I'm actually really pleased that it has driven a conversation in families about what are the dangers, what do you look out for? Because once you turn 16, you're going to hop on social media. And
randomly be introduced to it as well.
Yeah. So having those conversations, I think, are so important, and I think it's healthy that we're all having this conversation and debate because things are changing so quickly in that space too.
True. All right. Well, a lot of young people, especially a few young people from Bradfield, but obviously not your electorate, feel like politicians only show up when they want votes. How do you think politicians can do a better job of actually connecting with young people?
Yeah, I think this is, and I hear them. I think has been in the past. A lot of young people would have felt that they only engage with politics when they actually go to the polling booth, right? Yeah. Or they only hear from their politician. I think you need to go to the places where young people are. And that's really hard, but you have to go to the social media places where young people are. I'm trying to do that, but as a Gen Xer, I'm not so great on TikTok, but I'm trying. I'm trying to be there and to be in that environment, but also I do mobile offices in coffee shops. I turn up and shout people a coffee and say, if you want to have a chat. And I make sure that I'm out in the community constly. I don't think young people should have to come to my office to be heard. But I'm having a meeting, my first youth advisory panel.
Youth advisory panel, so good.
So that's starting, I think it's next month we're having our first youth advisory panel, which is really good. I also employ young people. So, I think, and I also employ uni students casually so that they can have some involvement in politics. But I really do think it is about going to where young people are, whether it be social media, whether it be in the community, in schools. I'm at as many schools as possible. I offer having a chat to the year 12s always, and also the year 5s. Developed a plan which put in place some really basic privacy guardrails in high-risk areas and high-risk environments. But I think the difficult thing about being an MP and creating laws in this space is that things are actually changing so quickly that they might be irrelevant within a few months. So I think it's something that I don't have the answers for the AI space. I'm glad that it is a huge topic of conversation. I haven't got my head around it completely as yet. I don't think we as governments around the world, I know that the EU passed some laws a couple of years ago, but they're already out of date. They're already outdated. So I think it's good we've started this process. We've set up an organisation to basically do research and keep track.
Is that e-safety?
No, it's a different organisation. I'll get you the name for it.
Yeah.
But we've set up an AI kind of it's a
Guardrails.
advisory kind of, it does research and keeps government up to date.
That's good.
So we set that up at the end of last year. We did the guardrail stuff, but I actually think that this is something we have not got right, and I'm not sure. I think it's going to be just continue. It's evolving so fast.
True.
So I think we're going to have to try and be more nimble, and it's really difficult in government to be nimble. It's, but we're trying.
That's good. All right, well, what's one issue affecting young Australians that you think doesn't get talked about enough?
I think
It can be anything.
regarding younger Australians, I think the underemployment of young Australians. I think that young Australians have a higher unemployment rate than...
I think there needs to be more jobs, not just Maccas, to be honest. But yeah.
I think that there's a lot of us young Australians who are employed, but they're not full-time.
Yeah.
And they are really struggling with the cost of living, with paying bills, with rent. And I'm not talking necessarily your age group. A lot of your age group is still bit older, but young, under 25s who are really struggling to get that good, solid, full-time job. They might have a job in the industry they like, but it's maybe not full-time. It's not as many hours as they want.
Yeah, not giving them a fair go.
And there's a really big flow-on effect from that. Yeah. It is poverty, and it's not being able to afford your bills and your food and stuff. So underemployment of young Australians is something I don't think we ever hear about.
Well, I'm supposing if we're talking about Gen Z, then that's going to carry on for years and years after they, over 25. If that's their expectation, then, they'll keep casual work. All right, well...
And it's about the casualisation of the workforce too. Like the workforce is just changing so quickly.
Loss of jobs due to AI as well. Yeah, true. Well, if someone is voting for the first time at the next election, why should they vote Labor?
Oh, there's so many reasons. They should vote Labor because we're the only party that can really deliver change that will impact young people in a really good way. And I'll give you an example of that. The minimum wage, for example. The minimum wage was stagnant for such a long time. We came to government and we argued hard for an increase in the minimum wage.
And it's gone up.
And guess what? Over 4 years, it's gone up by 30%.
Wow.
It's gone up by $6 an hour. That has a huge impact on young people. But secondly, we have just put through legislation to ensure that 18-year-olds and above get paid an adult wage. So until that legislation went through, under 21s were on a much lower rate, even though they were doing adult jobs. I think that we have the backs of young people. We've got free TAFE. We took 20% off HECS. We're doing the hard stuff on housing to make to level the playing field on housing. And I think young people really need to think about at the next election who is actually going to be able to deliver. Now, we're going to be up against the coalition, One Nation, Crossbench. Who is actually going to be able to form a government to deliver the things for young Australians? And I think it's only the Labor Party.
True. Well, by the next election, what do you hope people in Dickson will say you've achieved?
Well, that's a good question too. I really want them to be able to say, I can go to my GP and it doesn't cost me anything, no out-of-pocket fees.
Very fair. Yeah.
I want them to be able to say, I'm getting paid more now than I have over the last before the last 4 years. I want young people to be able to say, I've been able to buy my own home. I'm not competing with investors anymore. They're probably three really important things.
They're really important things.
These are things that enable young people to get ahead. To get paid, in line with inflation is a really important thing. Being able to get into the property market if you've saved your money is a really important thing. And also being able to get healthcare throughout your life without having to pay upfront costs is hugely important. Yeah. So that's what I hope they walk away with.
Really good points. Well, I always ask anyone I interview the exact same sentence. But what's one message that you would like to leave with young Australians getting ready to cast their first vote?
Do your research.
This is what I've said hundreds of times to hundreds of different MPs and senators, to please do your research. Young Australians need to research, because one party might not be what you're expecting. Even independents, you should do your research on what your values are. It's really
Exactly.
important.
I think you should look at your local MP and look up their voting record.
Yeah.
It's a really good idea, and it's an easy way to... There's a website where you can go on how they vote on all sorts of issues. So look at how they vote and see if that aligns with your values. Do not believe everything you read or see on social media. Please don't. You do your own research. And I know young people know how to do their own research. They're so much better at it than us. Like, you guys are all over that stuff. If I want to find out anything about anything, go to a young person and they'll find out everything there is to do with a topic in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So you guys are great at this. Please do it for an election. Please.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
As I've said. Well, thank you, Ailey, for joining the podcast. I really do appreciate it. You can find all the socials down below and on the screen at the moment. And it's been really good to come to your office, and I'm very thankful for your time. It's been great.
It's been so
Thank
good.
you very much.
Thank you so much.